Alone Together by Sophie Chardon. Fade in. Interior, Nora's kitchen, night. Frankie and Nora stand on opposite ends of the kitchen counter. They look like they've been fighting for hours. A single moldy tomato divides them.
Could you please take something seriously for once in your life?
I can. I can't have the tomato debate with you again, babe. I leave them out on the counter. They go soft. You ask me why I didn't put them in the fridge. It's our thing. Can we debate about a different vegetable instead? Like radishes. Why do they taste like that?
Frankie, you know it's not just that.
The grin on Frankie's face drops. She knows it's over. Interior, grocery store, day. Frankie stares lifelessly at a display of tomatoes.
Excuse me.
This snaps Frankie back to reality, and she turns to address the customer, a woman in her mid-40s.
Do you work here?
Frankie is wearing her horrendous bright yellow uniform. She very obviously works there.
No.
Frankie tries to make a break for it, but the customer just rolls her eyes and persists.
Where do I return this?
The customer holds up a bag of ice that is entirely melted. It is a bag of water.
Just euthanize me already.
Interior, bar, night. Frankie, still in her work uniform, sits at the bar slumped over an empty glass while scrolling through Nora's Instagram feed. Keith bartends and replaces Frankie's empty glass with a glass of water. Frankie looks at it like she's been served a glass of gasoline. Keith rolls his eyes and makes her a vodka soda.
I don't get it. You get bored of any relationship that lasts longer than 3 months. What's so different about Nora?
She has her life together. And she's really hot. And she gave me constant attention.
Do you want my advice?
Frankie opens her mouth to retort.
Of course you don't. But listen, what you need is some time to get away. No phone, no Nora, just be by yourself.
Frankie pretends to consider this for a moment.
You know what? That actually sounds like shit.
She downs her drink.
Think about it. Take some time to clear your mind. Do transcendental meditation or whatever that stuff David Lynch does. It sounds kind of culty, but it's supposed to make you like super enlightened.
Well, as great as it sounds to be alone for days on end with no one to talk to but the worms in my brain, who would I be if I actually took your advice?
Ding! Frankie's phone lights up with a notification that Nora posted a new photo. Frankie opens it immediately. Frankie and Keith lock eyes in silent agreement that Keith is right. Exterior, campsite, day. Frankie unloads her clearly borrowed and beaten up camping gear from her trunk. She uses a can of beans to hammer in the stakes of the tent.
You know, that might work better if you used a hatchet or even a rock.
Shit!
Frankie jumps up and spins around to see Iris, leaning against a nearby tree, entertained smirk on her face.
Who the fuck are you? I mean, why are you here?
Frankie softens when she realizes Iris is pretty.
I mean, I thought I was the only one here.
Well, great introduction. You'd think you were meeting the Pope.
Sorry, I wasn't expecting anyone else to be around. I'm Frankie.
I'm Iris. My job is to wash the grounds during the off-season, offer help to the people who actually come around this time of the year. And from the looks of your tent, you'll probably need lots of it.
Hey, it's rustic?
It's sideways.
Look, I'm just here to do some meditation shit that Ross Lynch does for a few days, and I'll be out of here. I think I'll survive.
Okay, whatever you say. But seriously, if you need anything, I'll be in the cabin.
Iris begins to walk away.
Oh, and your tent cover isn't clipped properly.
A light breeze rolls through and easily blows the tent cover into the trees.
Fucker.
Interior, park, night. Frankie's dream. Frankie and Nora lie in the grass, looking up at the stars. They cuddle and laugh and kiss. And bang! Interior, Frankie's tent, day. The noise jolts Frankie awake. causing the chip bags and bottle of vodka surrounding her to scatter around the tent.
Bears?
Exterior campsite day continuous. Frankie bursts out of the tent, food and drinks cradled in her arms. She pops the trunk of her car and retrieves a rope and a bag. She hopelessly attempts to tie her food up on a branch, not noticing Iris chopping wood nearby. Iris notices Frankie struggling, drops her axe, and watches with amusement for a few moments.
I'd offer to help, but I'd hate to interrupt your alone time.
Good. Besides, I don't need help. Let's see a bear try and get this.
Frankie stands back to admire the bag that is barely suspended off the ground. Iris ignores Frankie and removes the bag from the branch to properly hang it herself. Frankie stands closely behind Iris, watching her hands intently while she ties the knots. Iris notices.
Your food looks like you let an 8-year-old do your grocery shopping.
Are you always this imposing on other people's lives, or am I just special?
There's no bears around this time of the year, by the way. But now your food is safe and sound from the raccoons.
Something rustles in a nearby bush and Frankie jumps. Exterior cabin porch day. Frankie holds a hesitant fist to the door. She freezes for a moment before squeezing her eyes shut and quickly knocking. Iris barely has time to fully open the door.
Can you help me start a fire? Please?
Exterior campsite night. Frankie and Iris sit around the fire, passing a bottle of vodka back and forth.
Thank you, by the way, for helping me.
How could I say no when that was clearly the first time you've asked for help in your entire life? And it's no problem. I'm here for whatever you need.
Why are you being so nice to me? Like, helping me even though I've just been a dick to you?
Well, I am getting paid. And I can tell when someone's going through a hard time.
Frankie nods and takes a big swig from the bottle.
You don't have to talk about it.
My girlfriend dumped me, and I don't know. I'm just starting to wonder what's wrong with me. Like, why am I incapable of forming a lasting connection with anyone?
What was her reason for,
The stupid tomato debate.
They both laugh at how ridiculous this sounds.
The what?
We used to constantly fight over where you should store tomatoes. I always said they go...
In the fridge, obviously.
Beats.
You would say that. Anyway, I guess it wasn't just the tomatoes. There was the thing about how I can't take anything seriously. I give up on every task I start. I dropped out of my master's. I resist expressing my emotions.
So what you're saying is you're the full package.
I don't know. Maybe she's right. How am I supposed to believe I'm worthy of love when I can't even express it?
Frankie passes the bottle to Iris and Iris grabs it so their fingers overlap. She locks eyes with Frankie.
Just because love is difficult and scary doesn't mean you aren't deserving of it.
Frankie blushes.
Thank you. I do give up on every task I start, though. I've been here 3 days, and I haven't meditated once. Guess I'll never know what it's like to be Jane Lynch.
From Glee?
Yeah, my friend Keith suggested it. I don't know. I guess he's a diehard Gleek or whatever.
They laugh. Interior Frankie's tent night. Frankie sleeps. A few raindrops land on her cheek. Suddenly, a crash of lightning wakes her. It's pouring.
No.
Interior Iris's cabin night. Iris opens the door. Frankie is standing on her porch, soaking wet.
So, I never put my tent cover back on.
Okay. Oh my gosh, come in, get dry.
Frankie pulls off her wet clothes and Iris hands her an oversized t-shirt that she slips into. They both get into Iris's bed and pull the covers over their heads to keep warm. Frankie and Iris lay face to face.
Tell me a secret.
Iris thinks for a moment.
I took this job because I like being alone, but I don't think I realized how lonely I've been. Your turn.
I think you're beautiful.
Silence. All that can be heard is their gentle breathing and the rain pouring outside.
Can I kiss you?
They kiss, pulling each other closer until they are tangled up in one another. Interior, Frankie's kitchen, night. Frankie's dream. Frankie and Iris cook dinner together. Iris hugs Frankie from behind and showers her with kisses. Interior, Iris's cabin, day. Frankie wakes up and sees Iris sleeping soundly next to her. Frankie goes from peaceful to panicked in an instant. Frankie slips out of bed, careful not to wake Iris, and struggles to wriggle back into her still damp clothes. She leaves. Exterior, campsite, day. Frankie hurriedly throws her gear into her trunk. She's stuffing her tent in when Iris approaches.
So you're just gonna leave without saying anything? What the hell, Frankie?
Frankie looks extremely guilty, but doesn't stop stuffing her tent away.
I told you who I am. Okay, Iris? I'm a quitter. I give up on people and things. I only came out here to forget my ex. I can't just start imagining a life with you like I'm not just gonna end up in the same place I am now.
Have you considered actually trying instead of self-sabotaging every human connection you make?
That stings.
I'm sorry that I involved you.
Frankie gets in her car and drives away. Interior, Frankie's car, day. Frankie drives. Her jaw is clenched to stop tears from spilling over. Suddenly, a raccoon crosses the road in front of Frankie's car. She slams on the brakes. She watches breathlessly as the raccoon picks at an old tomato in the middle of the road. Something clicks, and she turns the car around. Exterior, campsite, day. Frankie gets out of the car and marches up to Iris, who is cleaning up the stray items Frankie left behind.
What, did you forget your 3/4 of a sleeping bag?
Frankie doesn't stop. She grabs Iris and kisses her purposefully. Their tense bodies immediately relax.
This whole thing scares me, and I feel really vulnerable. And also full of adrenaline because I almost mowed a raccoon over in the middle of the highway. I like you, Iris. And I'm done giving up. Is that dumb? I've only known you for what, like 4 days? Is that weird?
Iris can't help but laugh. She can tell Frankie is trying.
No, it's not dumb. I like you too, Frankie.
Okay. Yeah, good. Also, I left my tent cover in the trees.
They burst into laughter. Iris swings an arm around Frankie and they walk back to her cabin in a mess of kisses and giggles. Fade to black.